color, and the separation parameter is trying to calculate the distance from the observations of the cluster red to the cluster blue. So we are trying to achieve like the optimal situation is when, for example, like this, like the picture number 1, where the observations are like really similar. The observations from one cluster are like really similar between them and are also really far away or different from the other clusters. So well, this is the way we can like choose the optimal number. Well, now we are going to show you the platform. So I'm going to show you all these steps and how you can perform them there. Okay, this is the platform. Here you are going to find like different sections. For example, we have a section for compliance, another one for operational risk, another one for information security risk, and another one for anti-money laundering. This is what we were talking about. So here in this section, sorry, my screen just goes off. Just a minute. Okay, so here we can create and perform all the steps from the segmentation. We will be able to create a new one. I'm going to show you a segmentation I have already created, so it will be more quickly. But here is a use case for clients segmentation.
Facundo,
here,
just a reminder. Yeah. Sorry, I left in the link of this Pirani tool in the chat, so you can access to our software and you can do the practical exercise with Facundo. With this link, you will be able to access a 15-day free trial where you can test the 5 system that we have in Pirani. That's it.
Okay, perfect. Well, in this section, you will be able to perform like all the steps. We are going to start by choosing the variables that we want to include in our segmentation process. What is important here is to first calculate this, that is the population of the variable, and this is a metric that indicates how many not null values or not empty values we have in that variable. So, well, a recommendation is to always use like those characteristics that are over 80%, for example. If we have like this type of characteristics that are empty or are like this, like lower than 80%, well, we should like exclude them. Then the second step is to perform the data cleaning that we were talking about. Here you will be able to perform like all the 4 steps, transform like categorical data to numerical. Then we're going to detect the outliers in our data. Also, an important thing, as I told you, we are not going to remove or eliminate these outliers. We are just removing them from the segmentation process, but we are going to like store them in a different file, in a different CSV file, so you can analyze these outliers like separately and decide if it was just a mistake in the data, or maybe it's a really important client that you should analyze separately. Another important thing is the data normalization that we were talking about. And finally, the principal component analysis to identify the most important characteristics to include in our model. And then when we finish this part, we can choose like the model that that we prefer. As I told you, I think that the best thing is to try two different segmentations, one using K-means and another one using the Birch algorithm, and then just analyze the results and compare them to decide which one is better for your use case. And okay, then after we choose the model, we are going to calculate like the optimal number of segments. Here, for example, I have already calculated. So using the elbow method, it is identifying that the optimal number should be 6. But obviously we should try with this method and also with the silhouette method. And then finally, when we have done all the steps, we are going to execute the segmentation. So when this process is concluded, we are going to receive like a PDF file. Here I can show you with all the important characteristics and descriptive statistics of your segments. You are going to, here you can see like the amount of data that you have, the number of segments. You can see, for example, some characteristics from your numerical variables. You are going to see, for example, characteristics from the cluster 1, from the cluster 2, and it's important that you start here analyzing all the results. Try to find a business perspective on these results and try to achieve the goal, that is to understand more your clients. And this is how you can perform it in the platform. Now we are going to go back to the presentation. I don't know if you have any questions, but now we can continue with the final part, that is the natural language processing techniques and the ChatGPT application. Here what it's important is to know what it means, this sub-area, that it's also a sub-area in artificial intelligence. And the main purpose of this is to combine the computer science applications with linguistics to obtain this new file that is called natural language processing. And the main objective here is not only that we are able to process text data, because before we were talking about only numerical data, but here we are trying to process like text, but not only that, also we try to that this model can understand what it means, like this text, and also will be able to generate like new human language. So that's the main goal. Some of the examples of these applications are for sentiment analysis. Most companies use like these techniques to analyze sentiment in the tweets. For example, when someone writes a tweet about their company, and we are trying to understand if the sentiment behind this tweet is like positive or negative. Also, this is really useful for comments or surveys in our company's platform to understand if we are offering a good service and if the sentiment of these comments are like positive or negative. Another common application is to text classification. For example, an application into risk management, it would be to classify risk. We can like read all these risk that people write and classify them into different categories to understand which category is like more dangerous or is more probable that it happens. for example. And another application that is really common is to the chatbots. And this is really common to ask questions to this chatbot and receive an answer. Well, now in our platform, we decided to apply the model ChatGPT. And it's important to understand what it means. This maybe a lot of people don't know what it means, like the letters, the G, the P, and the T. The G refers to generative, and this means that this model is able to create or generate like new data points. Remember that in this case, we are talking about text data. So this model is going to be able to generate like new paragraph or new text. Another important thing is the P, and it refers to pre-trained. This is because it was pre-trained using like a huge amount of text data available in the internet. And another thing is the T that refers to transformers. And this is like the deep learning or neural network architecture that works from behind the model. You don't need to know this in detail, but an important thing about this is the attention mechanism that it has. And this allows the model to, for example, process like a big paragraph of text and identify in that paragraph like the keywords or the context of the whole paragraph, and to retain that information. This is like, it was like really revolutionary in that moment. There are some applications of ChatGPT into risk management. For example, one of them is what I'm going to show you in the platform, and is a recommendation of potential risk, because, we identified that a lot of like new clients access to the platform, and they couldn't like identify the risk that they were suffering, or maybe they know like the risk that they were suffering, but they couldn't like write it properly in the platform. So they were like starting like calling our consultants in risk, and we decided to create like this system to recommend potential risk. And this system is going to be using like different key variables about the company of the client. For example, one of the key variables are the industry of the client, the process in the company, the risk system that this refers to. For example, if they are talking about compliance or operational risk or anti-money laundering risks, and of course the language of the client. And the process is like this picture that we have in the left. All these key variables are an input into the prompt of the ChatGPT model, and then ChatGPT used like all the information, all this text data that it was used to pre-train this model from the internet. So ChatGPT used all this information to generate a response and to make some recommendations of potential risks to the client. But also, as I told you, this is one application, but we also have like other ones. For example, risk classification. We can use like this model to classify like the risk into different categories. And another one that we are working on is to make suggestions of mitigations actions and possible causes of the risk. And so the idea is not only to recommend potential risk, but also to recommend actions to mitigate that risk and maybe possible causes. That's what we are working on. So now I'm going to show you in the platform where you can find this. Okay, so here we can go, for example, to another section. For example, we can go to the operational risk section. Okay, so here we are going to have the module of risk, where we can create like new ones. And for example, before this application, like people start like writing here risk of something, but now we are trying to offer like this suggestion risk using ChatGPT, so you can get some ideas. And here you are going to select, for example, the industry that you are working on, maybe, for example, the health industry. And you can also select the process. For example, we're going to choose this technology process. And let's just press suggest, and ChatGPT is going to start working using all the information of the internet. Well, here are the suggestions. You can read them. Well, maybe this can be helpful to identify, to use these suggestions or to identify potential risk. If you want to use one of these recommendations, you just click it. And that's all. And you can create in this way a new risk. Also, you will find like suggestions for a lot of industries, like the financial, the insurance, retail, and also a lot of process into the company, from the company. For example, marketing, commercial, customer service, and well, it's a lot that you can use. And well, that's all of this presentation. That's all what I have to show you. I don't know if there are some questions.
We have one question, Facundo. Chat tell us, ChatGPT keeps information we provide?
Well, no. In this case, we are not like giving the information that we have, for example, from our clients to ChatGPT. We are just using like these key variables, for example, the industry and the process, and that's all. We are using like the information that is from behind the model of ChatGPT to help us, but we are not giving like information to it. And well, we are doing this because we don't know like which are the security behind this, and if data is keeping private or not. So that's what we are doing.
Great. I think we don't have any other questions. So we can do a brief summary about your presentation to our participants.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, to summary, we can say that it's important to don't lose the focus or the goal in business. We need to first understand like the business problem or the business opportunity that we want to solve, and then start thinking if we need to use machine learning or artificial intelligence for that. If the problem is like really complex, so let's do it. But if not, just keep it simple and try to always focus on solving the problem. Then another important thing is if you are performing segmentation, to do like all the steps, give the importance to the data cleaning part, because that's the most important part. As I told you, you can use like all the algorithms that you want, but if you didn't perform a good data cleaning, you are not going to get a good result. And then obviously always compare results, like using both different methodologies, but at the end you need to compare and try to choose which one is better for your company. And well, that's it. And if you need some recommendations of risk, just use our section of ChatGPT to get them. Well.
Thank you so much, Facundo, for your valuable participation in this webinar. Finally, I would love to invite everyone to participate in the short survey that will appear when this meeting ends. That will help us a lot to continue improving our webinars. Thank you so much for your participation and see you soon.
Thank you.